Hey boys and girls, it's Miss Ely again. I wanted to read a story to you today. It's called Memorial Day, and I hope that you're enjoying your Memorial Day, and I will be reading more stories to you later this week. Have a great day. The story is called Memorial Day. This is a story about a little boy named Kyle who gets to spend Memorial Day weekend with his grandma in a smaller town. He lives in the big city, and there's quite a few differences. So listen carefully and to hear if you can notice any of the differences, and maybe learn some information about Memorial Day. Kyle, we'll stop at the post office on our way into town. Did you put on any sunblock? Grandma asked. Yes, Grandma, I did, he answered. It was only 10 o'clock, but the sun felt hot on his back. It was the last Saturday in May, and Kyle was ready for summer. His grandparents' small town was so different from the city. Kyle loved the old buildings here. He was glad when his parents told him he would be spending the long Memorial Day holiday weekend here with his grandmother. The short walk to the post office took longer than Kyle had expected. It seemed like everyone in this town knew each other. You couldn't walk past someone without saying hello or swapping news. See you at the parade, people said with a friendly wave. This was the first Kyle had heard about a parade. What parade? He asked Grandma. The Memorial Day parade, of course. This is Memorial Day weekend, you know, she said. Kyle knew his 3-day weekend was special. The town pool opened this weekend, but he didn't know there would be a parade. You have a parade for the beginning of summer? Not exactly, said Grandma as she dropped a few letters in the mailbox. Haven't you ever been to a Memorial Day parade? She asked. Kyle shook his head. There were many parades in the big city where he lived with his parents, but they never went to them. His parents usually worked on holidays. He saw a Thanksgiving Day parade on television once. He hoped there would be big balloons at this parade too. Maybe he would meet other kids there. Memorial Day means more than the start of summer fun, Grandma explained. It's a time to remember. She stopped without finishing her sentence. Come, I'll show you. We'll go to the cemetery. Grandma turned and walked briskly in the opposite direction. We're going where? Kyle asked, quickening his pace to keep up with his grandmother. Kyle had never set foot in a cemetery before. He imagined a creepy place, but the town cemetery wasn't at all creepy. Kyle thought it was actually very nice, especially with all the flowers and flags. As they walked, Kyle noticed that other people were there. He saw a young family standing by headstones and a woman his grandmother's age. He saw a soldier in uniform. Then he saw a troop of Boy Scouts had gathered at the far end of the cemetery. What are they doing? He asked Grandma. Then he realized that they were the ones putting out the flags. The flags mark the graves of those who served in all branches of our armed forces, explained Grandma. It's part of our Memorial Day tradition to honor soldiers buried here, to remember them. Kyle remembered his teacher talking about the Revolutionary War. That was a long time ago. He knew that the United States had fought many wars since then. Was there always a Memorial Day? He asked Grandma. And down here at the bottom there's a chart that shows wars and how many military deaths there were in each one of the wars. At first it was called Decoration Day. You know, decoration can mean a medal or award to honor bravery in battle, Grandma continued. They had stopped in front of a grave with a flag next to it, and Kyle read the inscription. This soldier was only 19 years old, Grandma. That's my cousin Ken's age. Kyle suddenly felt sad. His grandma noticed his mood changed. Yes, it can be a solemn occasion for many people, she said. Solemn is kind of sad. As they walked back to the house, Grandma told him that many countries have different days set aside to honor lost soldiers. In England, it's called Poppy Day, Grandma explained. Poppies are red flowers that became a symbol for Memorial Day there. Back at the house, Kyle used the internet to discover more about Memorial Day. He read General John A. Logan's Memorial Day order made in 1868, 3 years after the end of the Civil War. This was the official beginning of the Memorial Day tradition in America. It became a federal holiday in 1971. By the morning of the parade, Kyle felt like a Memorial Day expert. Did you know they have a Memorial Day in Australia too? Kyle said as he dug into the pancakes his grandmother had made for breakfast. There it's called Anzac Day. Anzac stands for Australian and New Zealand Army Corps, he explained. Kyle and his grandmother had found a shady spot to watch the parade. You can watch the parade with me, or you can ride on the old fire truck and be in it, his grandmother said. Wow, thanks, Grandma, Kyle said as he ran toward the truck. Kyle knew this was a solemn occasion, but parades were fun too. At the back of this story, we have something called a glossary, which is a mini dictionary for a book. Okay, so the word cemetery is a noun. It's a place where dead people are buried. Federal is an adjective relating to a government that serves many separate states or regions. Honor, that's a verb to show respect or think well of, to keep a promise. Soldier is a noun, a person who serves in the armed forces of a country. Solemn is an adjective, serious, slightly sad. Symbol is a noun, an object, picture, or sign that represents an idea, letter, or word. And tradition is a noun, a belief or custom that is passed down from year to year and generation to generation. Boys and girls, I hope that you learned some new things from this story, and stay tuned for another story later on this week. Bye-bye.